The world can be a dangerous place. Gear up with the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Equipping your firearm with laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com and receive a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
You know, I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right. We're going to be talking about, a whole bunch of different things as we go through the next couple of hours of Gun Talk. By the way, I'm Tom Gresham. If you just joined us, welcome. Also, we want to send out a really big Gun Talk welcome to a brand new affiliate, WKRO AM in Cairo, Illinois, 1490 AM. Talk about a good place. If you're a duck or goose hunter, holy smoke, that's about as good as it gets right there. And I'm still waiting for my invite to come up there and help you guys with that waterfowl population problem that you have. Phone's ready. I'm ready. Have gun. We'll travel. Just give me a holler. We'll get up to Cairo, Illinois. We'll do what we can do. I love that part of the world. Our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. Got a couple of callers that we're going to try to get in here as quickly as we can. Let's see. Line 3, John's with us out of Shreveport, Louisiana. John, talk to me about the Hughes Amendment.
I was just curious why no effort has ever been made to repeal the Hughes Amendment.
Hughes Amendment is the part of the, let me explain to people. The Hughes Amendment is the part of the Firearms Owners Act, Protection Act, which says that basically it did a cutoff on being able to buy full auto guns to those who were made, what was the cutoff date?
Prior to 1986, if we just look at the year.
Yeah, May 19, 1986.
Already in the system before 1986.
Right, and it's a bizarre and strange thing, and of course that kind of goes along with the whole, why haven't we repealed or worked to repeal the sporting use restriction on importing guns, because the Second Amendment has nothing to do with sporting use. You know what? I don't know why. Well, first of all, let me back up. I don't know if it's ever been attempted, because it could have been attempted and we didn't hear about it, didn't go anywhere. And if it hasn't, I don't know why. Obviously, with the current administration, that's probably not going to happen. I mean, you're not going to get that through the Senate, and you're sure not going to get it through the White House to say, yeah, we want more people to be able to buy full auto guns. You and I may think it's a great idea, and I do, but I kind of doubt that the amateur in charge of the White House would. So, you got to, as I say, you got to pick your times and know what you can get away with, what you can do. But I think it's a great point. Some of these things are archaic and don't make any sense. And why would you say you can own guns that were registered before that, but not those that are registered after that? That's all that does is drive up the price of these firearms, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're looking in the neighborhood of around $16,000 for a M16. I personally have a friend who recently bought an Uzi bolt, a registered bolt for his. He had a IMI Model A semi-automatic Uzi that he had for years. He came across a bolt that he bought. And essentially all this is a bolt that somebody registered with the ATF before this cutoff date in 1986 and then had a slot cut in the thing after they got their tax stamp back. It's a part that's easily available in the $25 to $50 range, yet you take one that has been modified, been papered, and is on the NFA registry books, and it jumps, up close to $10,000. And it's a $50 part.
Yeah, for $50 now it's $10,000, only because you can't get any. You can't make them now. You can't get any that were not registered before then. So it's a great point. I'll tell you what I'll do. When I'm talking to some of the gun rights organizations, I'm going to ask about the Hughes Amendment and see what I can find out. But I appreciate you bringing it up. It's a great point. I appreciate the call, sir. Let me at this point run to our guest. We've lined him up. John Annoni is with 2 Million Bullets Camp Compass Group, and he's got a project that he's working on here that I think you're going to find interesting. John, how are you?
I'm very well, Tom. Yourself?
Excellent. So tell me what you guys have been up to recently.
We have been busy. We're in the middle of our hunting season now, and we're currently in the middle of a national contest. And I do want to say before we even talk about that your listeners have been absolutely great for our children, and we are tremendously appreciative.
Well, give them an overview of what we're talking about, what you guys do.
Okay, well, we have a program called Camp Compass Academy that rewards inner-city students with hunting and shooting events, and that's been going on for about 20 years now, and we moved into a national orange ribbon campaign called 2 Million Bullets, where we're scouring the country looking for people who shoot and hunt to stand behind children by wearing an orange ribbon.
Okay, so what's involved with that? I mean, when you say stand behind them, you just wear the ribbon at events, or what do you do?
You know, it's kind of funny when you say that. When we say stand behind, there's a calling that needs to happen in regards to prioritizing our children. We do a very good job of making sure that people are aware of our gun culture and our hunting culture, but we tend to forget that if we don't show our kids that we love them, our gun culture and our hunting culture is going to go away.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we all have to be teaching responsible, safe gun use. And then when you do, people say, well, wow, that's a lot of fun. I'd like to do that, whether it's a kid or an adult, obviously. But if you
Correct.
can get some of one of the issues is, and we've all talked about this before, is young people have so many things pulling at them for their attention. We're faced with a lot of, if you will, competition for a child's attention, a young person's attention. So getting them into shooting, I told somebody at one point, I said, I have never known, honestly, a young person who was a competitive shooter who got into trouble off the range. Now, I'm sure it happens, but I just don't know of any, because generally there's a self-discipline or a form of discipline that comes with shooting a firearm that people, they rise to that if they're taught right. Would you agree?
Agreed. And actually, we have the documentation to prove that. So, and that's where, with this new twist, and the reason that I wanted to call you is because hopefully the listening audience is aware that I've been working on promoting this kind of mission, guns and children, for about 20 years. And we finally have a chance to be very proactive. And proactive in the mainstream media. If I could just have a second.
Yeah.
Currently, we are in a national charity challenge. There's about 100 charities across the country that have been chosen by Under Armour. And currently, we are in third place. We are the only pro-gun, pro-shooting, pro-hunting youth program in the whole campaign.
Ooh, okay.
And right now, our shooters have a chance. Our gun owners have a chance to help us win this thing, and if we do win it, a substantial amount, $20,000, will come back to our charity. But even more important than that is we will have the attention of mainstream media. We're very good, in showing our intentions to our own kind. But to win an event like this would give us a presence in mainstream America that gun owners and hunters couldn't buy.
Okay, so explain to me, because you say it's a contest and we're in third place, but what is the contest? What's involved? How do you win?
Okay, what happens is the contest is based upon the charity that raises the most money online.
Oh.
And what happens is the competition. Right now we're losing to a basketball charity. So people in a community that support basketball have come together and made donations to the campaign, and right now we're losing to the basketball community. And for us, the opportunity to go to battle and to prove that we love our children proactively, meaning that we're not being reactive because something has happened with a gun. What we're saying is we're standing behind Camp Compass and 2 Million Bullets because we know it's healthy. Right. And to be able to make that statement and have some people step up and donate to this campaign could literally change the view of what we do for a lot of Americans.
Yeah, if Under Armour says, and the winner of this is the 2 Million Bullets Camp Compass, then a lot of media is going to say, what? What are you talking about? And gives you a base from which to shout out. It basically gives you a huge megaphone to use.
It does, and you know what? And I would like everybody to listen to this. It gives me the megaphone for us And we've never had this chance. Tom, I don't think ever in the history of shooting or hunting have we ever been able to say proactively, we're going to prove that we care about all kinds of kids. That you know what, we believe that all kids should be involved in this culture. And what I'm most afraid of is if we don't, we may never have this opportunity again to have a national branded sponsor say, you know what, those hunters and those shooters, they didn't play around.
Okay, so what's the deal? How do people get involved? How do they help?
The easiest way to do it is to go to 2millionbullets.org or .com. It doesn't matter the number or the word. Once you get there, you will see an Under Armour logo. That Under Armour logo, all you need to do is click on it. That will take you to our fundraising page.
Okay, I think I'm on the fundraising page now. It looks like you got about a little over $9,000 there.
Correct. Currently, we want a $3,000 bonus. They don't count that towards the final. But we're about $8, $9, maybe $10,000 behind. And once again, the advertising that this will do for our industry, for our culture, we can't measure in dollars. So I'm asking your listeners to step up and help by going to 2 Million Bullets, clicking on the Under Armour logo, and making a donation.
It's funny. I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm watching. It's scrolling some of the names of people who have donated. Mm-hmm. I just saw two people I know go by. I just Bill Miller Outdoors. I've known Bill for 40 years, and another person I know. That's just weird. Out of all the people that you have had, that I knew two of these people. So, is there a minimum, a maximum, or what are you looking for from people?
There is a minimum of $10. And right now, currently, we have about 100 people who have donated so far. The leading charity, the second place charity, also have 100, but they're beating us by about $10,000. Okay. We figure that if we get our our gun owners and shooters to unite, if we get 1,000 people at $10 a piece, we can put this issue to bed. We ought to be able to do that. We don't need somebody to drop a load. We just need people to unite together.
Well, here's how I always look at it. Say, look, it's the cost. How about, you could throw in $10, but maybe you'd want to bump that up to just the cost of a box of ammo. And it doesn't really matter. You pick whatever box of ammo, because you can't get a box of ammo for under $10 now, of anything.
Correct.
So, if it were the cost of a box of ammo and you would throw it into this thing, it's going to do a couple things. It's going to help you win the contest, but it also helps you bring inner city kids out and introduce them to safe, responsible, supervised shooting and get them involved in that. It's a chance to, frankly, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to say this, put some kids, and this works across the board for all kids, you need to put children into a position of trust where you say, okay, we're going to teach you how to use this, and this is a powerful thing that you have in your hands, and we know that you are smart enough, adult enough, capable of doing this. It's not as much the gun, the ammo, the shooting as it is the vote of confidence, the affirmation that you are trustworthy, you are a good person, you are somebody who can do this, and it's pumping them up and saying, and then they do it and they succeed, they walk away and go, wow, that was fun, and I can do this. That's the real gift.
You're right, and I'm in camp right now with 2 kids, actually 4 kids, and it's something where for us, we understand that we have to market. We understand, that we need to move our message forward, but never have we had a chance like this. To be able to have Under Armour at the end of the day say, a pro-gun, a pro-hunting charity proved that they cared about, out of all these charities, they stepped up to prove that they care about kids.
And okay, so what we need is we need for our Gun Talk listeners to go to 2 Million Bullets.
Bullets, correct.
2millionbullets.org or .com, either way, and you can either spell it out or put the number in, doesn't matter. 2millionbullets.org. Click on the Under Armour logo there, and basically throw some money in the pot. Just throw some money in the kitty.
Please, I'm asking you to invest in my 20 years of work so that this message that we believe in can go national.
There you go. I just wish you tons of luck with it, and I know we can do this, John. We can make this thing happen, man.
Well, I called you because you're an uncle to me, and I can't win the fight alone, but I promise you, and I promise your listeners, that I will continue to fight my heart out for this mission.
Well, that works for me. As soon as I get off the air, I'm going to be over there, and I'm going to throw basically the cost of a box of ammo in there, and I'm just going to ask folks to do that. Again, let me put that out. It is 2millionbullets.org or .com. Click on the Under Armour logo and go in and make a pledge, throw some money in the kitty. It's a good thing. And you know what? We can win this, and we'll get, I always say, what's the definition of public relations? Doing good and getting credit for it. We're going to do good anyway. Let's get some credit for it. All right, thanks so much. 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back with more gun talk.
You're headed somewhere your gun can't go. Leave it in a truck? Unsecured? Nope. Get a vehicle vault. Fits most trucks and SUVs. Installs in 10 minutes. Plate steel. Fast access. Visit CONSOLE vault.com.
Successful hunters know big bucks move early and late, often when it's too dark for common scopes. When that monster steps out, you might see him through the scope, but the crosshairs disappear. All that work and you can't take the shot. But with the Trijicon AccuPoint scope, you'll get the shot. Its bright aiming point glows in daylight or darkness. No batteries needed. AccuPoint scopes are water-resistant and nitrogen-filled, feature multi-layer coated lenses for the brightest image, and you can adjust brightness of the aiming point to match the conditions. Adding 10 or 15 minutes to each end of the day can double the magic moments when the trophies move. You can't hit the target if you can't see the sights. Trijicon AccuPoint scopes. Check out the different models at Trijicon.com or call 1-800-338-0563. Brilliant aiming solutions from Trijicon.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
Crossbreed Holsters is broadening our product selection to serve more of your concealed carry needs. With products handmade in the USA, like the bedside backup, gun belts, and of course our world-famous Super Tuck and Mini Tuck holsters, we understand what works, and we take pride in providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
Keep your handgun and other valuables safe in your truck or SUV. Get a vehicle vault from Console Vault. Plate steel, 3-point locking system, easy installation. Visit CONSOLEvault.com.
Gun Talk would like to say thanks to our longtime loyal listeners who put their trust in us every week and depend on us to answer your questions and keep you informed. Now, Tom Gresham's Gun Talk continues.
All right, 866-825-5486. You can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. All of those work. I do want to, let's see here. Make sure we're going to line one. Philip is with us in Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, Philip.
Hey, good day, sir. Thank you very much. Love the show. Been listening for quite a long time. First time I had a chance to call you.
Excellent. How can I help you?
I am looking at getting my first firearm for protection, family, and so forth. My wife is on board, which I was surprised. I think her father owns some rifles, and I think she's used to the idea of it anyway, so she's behind me. We do have small children. I got an 8 and a 6-year-old, and so safety is a big deal.
Sure.
You know, I'm used to some firearms in my Air Force days, but I never had one for personal protection. So I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should look at getting a revolver or a different type pistol, easy to use. I'm also concerned about the conceal permit, whether I should worry more about the state issues or federal nowadays. And that's enough. I'll let you I need to know.
All right, let's talk through it, because if there are some pistols out there, some handguns, excuse me, that will work well for home defense as well as for concealed carry. One one of the things, and I take it your wife doesn't have much, if any, experience shooting handguns. Would that be correct?
That would be correct.
Okay. But she's willing, right?
Yes, she is.
Okay. I'm going to cut through a lot of questions and go right to where I think we are going to end up anyway. And that is, for this, I'm going to recommend a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, semi-automatic. And specifically, if you really do want to get your concealed carry permit, I would get a mid-size pistol. There are large, mid-size, and compacts. And the compacts sometimes kind of get in there. So, but what that does for you, for companies like Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory, and some others, the compact or the mid-size is going to have a slightly shorter grip on it, so the magazines are going to be slightly shorter. But you can also put a full-size magazine in those pistols. And one of the ways to go is to use the small grip, which makes the gun more concealable when you're carrying it. And then when you're home and you keep it in your home, you put the full-size magazine in. Now you've got a bigger grip, a little bit more controllable.
I guess my concern is, John, I have a very large hand. I got a size 14 ring finger type hand.
Yeah.
And my concern was the grip, like you mentioned. So you said mid-size. Is that going to be an issue?
Probably not. How? What size hand does your wife have? We may be looking at two pistols here.
About half the size.
Okay, I'm going to run out of time. Here's what I want you to do, Philip. I want you to go. There are several good firearms instructors in the Shreveport area. You two both need to go to a firearms instructor and spend a couple of hours shooting some different pistols and getting some training, and you'll figure out what works. And you'll put your hands on them, and she'll put her hands on them. She'll go, I hate this, and you'll say, I love this. You may get the same gun. You may end up two different guns. But here's the thing. Since you've got kids in the house, you must keep these guns locked up when you're not in immediate physical control of them. If you don't have it in your hand or in your holster, it's got to be locked up. It can be in a quick access vault, and there are a lot of those small, inexpensive ones around. You absolutely cannot hide guns from kids. You cannot keep this gun loaded around your house when you got kids in the house. It's your responsibility to be safe. That's why you've chosen to get a gun in the first place, to protect your family.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you here, 866-825-5486. Or you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. I'm looking for more reports because I just put a post on Twitter with a photo somebody sent me of lots of ammo on the shelves at a Gander Mountain. And I had some comments from people say, well, I don't go to Gander Mountain, or I'm not seeing that here. We're still recovering from the great ammo shortage of 2013. And we know that rimfire is still an issue, but I would still like to get your report of what you're seeing. Are the shelves full? And what are prices? We also had the thing of somebody saying, well, Walmart employees are buying ammo before it goes out on the shelves. We got a little bit more information on that from a guy that works at Walmart. And he said, what's still happening is there are people they're there when the trucks roll in. And there are a number of guys, he says, in his case, he says, we got a bunch of guys that get off their shift late and then come in to Walmart. And when the trucks roll in, as soon as the ammo goes out on the shelves, they buy it up. And there's a limit to how many they can buy, but they buy them. Some is for shooting for themselves, but some of it they simply turn around and mark it up and take it to gun shows. So there is that too. It's just a thought for you there. So just a bit of intel, if you will. Now, one of the issues that gets people stirred up occasionally is the idea of taking a gun to church. In fact, in the state where I live, it's specifically prohibited, unless there are some exceptions, of taking your concealed carry gun into church. I have had at least a couple of pastors, preachers, and a priest tell me that they carry their guns all the time. One, in fact, had a shooting in his church, and he said he was just about to pull his gun out when the parishioners jumped on the shooter and took him down. Well, another pastor has been getting some attention in the media about this, and he's joining us right now, Dr. Eduardo Gonzalez. He's the pastor of the Linwood Baptist Church in Shreveport, Louisiana. Dr. Gonzalez, welcome to Gun Talk.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Absolutely. So, obviously, this made the news in Shreveport. I guess, if you would, kind of give folks an idea of, I guess it is correct, you do carry a gun while you're in church?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Okay.
And there's several others that have weapons that are permitted by us to have weapons on them.
Yeah, and that makes the point, it brings me to the point of, in Louisiana, it's okay as long as the pastor has okayed it, and I think the congregation has to be notified. Is that correct?
Oh, well, they're not notified who. They're just notified that we do have weapons on the premises.
Right. They don't know who. They just know that there are weapons on the premises. So how did that come about? How'd you get to that decision, and what was the process of getting there?
Well, one of the things that took place was the fact that I had seen quite a bit of churches, which are soft targets, having these issues where people were coming in and bringing weapons in and either hitting the pastor or shooting their guns off. And but one day happened when I was sitting in my office that I forgot to lock the door when I'm here by myself, and I looked up and I saw a young man that I know come in, and when he walked in my office, of course, I knew that he was a carrier also, but that he had other issues. So I opened the drawer, and I had a .357 stub nose right there in my drawer, and I just put my hand on it, and when he walked in with his hand behind his back and said that God had told me to come and take you out. That's not a very good thing to hear. And my response to him, I don't know what God you're talking to or which one you're talking about, but the God that I know, I don't tell to go take people out. Well, I notified him right then and there that my hand was on a weapon, and I said, if you flinch, I'm going to have to come up, and I said, I'm going to have to kill you. And finally, the more I talked to him, and he backed out of my office, still with his hand in the bag, never showing a weapon, never producing one, and I did call the police at that time and explained to them what was the situation that was going on. And he left the building. He was never captured, and everybody knows who he is. But, again, not having a weapon, not having any proof of that, that's as far as it went.
Okay, so I'm sure at that point you're thinking, okay, I need to make sure that I have a gun with me all the time. So you actually carry a gun, which I got to tell you, in my view, I think that's just eminently smart, because you're right. Churches are soft targets. We get crazy people coming in, but also you just have regular old crime that takes place in churches, don't you?
You really do. It wasn't too long ago that I had was on my way home, stopped by a local restaurant, got the food, went back into my car, and a gentleman just proceeded to walk up to the door, and he saw that my door was open, and I looked at him and asked him what he needed. And he asked me for some money, and I told him no. I said, I'm not going to give you any money. Well, the next thing he did was he took a step towards me, and again, I'm sitting in my vehicle, but I had my hand on my weapon. And I just looked at him, and I said, without producing the weapon, showing it to him, I just said, if I were you, I would not take another step. Come to find out, 2 nights later, he had robbed one of the restaurants located right there. And I didn't know that until I watched him on the news the other night, and I said, that's the same guy that approached me. We will never know who is out there, what they're carrying, what they're doing, and what their motives are.
So how'd you go about arranging or lining up or approving other people to carry in your church? What's that about?
Well, we went down, and of course, we're all licensed to carry, and we all went down to get another class, and we have a company here called Shooters, and we went in there. Then we had them to come and to give us some ideas of where to be at, what is to take place, and I just decided, due to the fact that in the neighborhood that I'm at, there are tendencies of people that, and they do have weapons. We've been hearing services before, like on the New Year's, and the next thing you know, you come out, one of the deacons' windows are blown out because somebody shot up into the air. You know, what goes up must come down. Yep. And the next thing you know, there's holes in the awning. So we are here not just to protect ourselves, protect those that walk through our doors. Absolutely. So what you've really done is you have built your own congregational security team. That's exactly right. Exactly right. And knowing who has it, where they're stationed at, what's going on, is the things that we've got to do at all times. You know, we know that we preach there's no fear to them who are in Christ Jesus, but at the same time, I believe as a pastor, we don't need to be foolish. We need to be prepared and not taken off guard. And your team has actually been, you've had trainers come in and talk to your team about what to do, so you have a plan. Yes, we have a plan, and we're getting now ready to reestablish some of that goals and who's what. Who is, you know, we've got people up in the loft area and stationed at different locations of the church. Who is going to be in charge of doing this? Who's going to be in charge of doing that? Going out? What doors we're going to go through? Because we don't want everybody drawing their weapons at one time. You know, right. we don't need mass confusion. Right. Right. So we're going to be going that within the next couple of weeks. We're going to be doing some more training concerning the church and where everyone's stationed and what their position is. Have you gotten any pushback from other members of the church? Not at all. Not at all. My congregation loves the fact that know that they can come in here and that they have some sense of security, knowing that the men of this church are there to protect them in all ways. That is fabulous. Well, Dr. Gonzalez, I appreciate you sharing the information. I guess what I would ask you on the kind of the going away point here is the takeaway. Have you talked to other preachers, pastors, ministers, and would you suggest that others consider doing this? Yes, sir. I've talked to some of them, and of course, even this morning on my way to church, I heard a local pastor that is against having any kind of weapons. You know, the thing is that, you know, if we're going to believe in God and trust in God, let's do it all the way. Well, God doesn't want us to be foolish people either. He wants us to be wise. He wants us to be observant and wants us to be ready for anything that comes up. So there are ministers in town that do not agree with having guns in the church, but you can't take guns off the street. So what you want to do is you just want to make sure that everything is up and up in your church and your people are well protected, including myself. Absolutely. Dr. Gonzalez, thank you so much. I applaud you for what you're doing. You take care of those people. All right, back in a minute with more Gun Talk. Lord, pass the ammunition and we'll all stay free. Praise the Lord and swing into position. Can't afford to be a politician. Praise the Lord, we're all between perdition and the deep blue sea.
You know the name Walther is a legendary brand, but do you know the new Walther? The new Walther has introduced 3 new precision handguns. The smooth PPQ M2 is a breakthrough in ergonomics and trigger pull. The tough PPX is a workhorse at a value price. The cool, iconic PPK S22 blends classic PPK with the fun of the economical 22 LR. There is a lot going on at the new Walther. Visit us at waltherarms.com. Walther, at your favorite retailer.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Since 1997, Access Sights have been helping good guys take care of bad situations. The industry leader in gunfighter sights for pistols, shotguns, and rifles, Access Sights are the upgraded solution to your defensive firearms. Learn more about Access Sights and purchase them at accesssights.com. You can also order your new gun with Access Sights already installed from companies such as Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Remington, Mossberg, and Marlin. If you need a gun, you need Access Sights.
A great trigger can make you a better shooter. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. Installation is easy. Give yourself the Timney Trigger advantage. To see more and order online, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, the original nationally syndicated radio talk show about firearms, shooting, and your Second Amendment rights.
Putting more guns in people's hands actually does them a service.
Give Tom a call at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUNS, or email tom@guntalk.com.
They're there to protect us.
Now, back to Gun Talk. Here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. James was calling in earlier. He had a question. He said he would like for Ruger to make the American rifle in .223. That's a great idea. I will mention that to the folks at Ruger. I'll be talking to them this week, and they always do exactly what I tell them to do. Not. But, hey, it doesn't hurt. And they do have a, what do they call it, the Voice of the People program at Ruger, where they actually do listen to what people say. You know, and if they hear from enough people who say, why don't you chamber the Ruger American in .223? I imagine they would. There's no reason that they couldn't, I think. So just a thought there. A couple of emails I've gotten in. Got somebody asking about handguns. I've got some comments. People, just a second. Let me check this one email here. Just came in. Oh, this was interesting. Asking about shooting a 30-30 and the primer, after you shoot, when you take the fired hull out, the primer seems to have backed out of the case. That's an interesting one. Well, let me explain what's going on there. Well, which makes us talk about what happens when you actually shoot a gun, particularly we're talking a metallic cartridge, a rifle cartridge, or a handgun cartridge. Let's talk about a rifle cartridge. A rifle cartridge does not sit tightly in the chamber of the gun. It's a little bit loose, just a little bit. Okay, we're talking thousands here, okay, but cut me some slack, but it's a little bit loose. When you shoot the gun, and imagine it's a 30-30, even though it's a rimmed case, the firing pin goes forward and hits the primer. And it actually, if the primer's not quite seated all the way, it'll actually push the primer all the way into the primer pocket. The primer goes off. And when the primer goes off, it's an explosive, and the primer pushes its way back out of the case. So now the primer has actually slid backwards out just a little bit back in the primer pocket. But then when the powder burns in the cartridge case, it shoves the entire cartridge case back against the breech face, the face of the bolt, if you will, and actually reseats the primer. So the primer's sticking out a little bit. So now the case gets shoved backwards, and it seats the primer back into the primer pocket. And when you look at it, all is well. If you got a low-powered round, and the 30-30 could be considered a low-powered round, there may not be enough pressure to push the case back against the bolt face and reseat the primer. And that's why you end up, or could end up, with a primer that's sticking out of the case like that. So just one of those things that reloaders know about. 866 Talk Guns. What are you seeing out there for ammo? Love to hear it.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back. Gun Talk would like to say thanks to our longtime loyal listeners who put their trust in us every week and depend on us to answer your questions and keep you informed. Now, Tom Gresham's Gun Talk continues.
All right, you probably already know the news out of California. Governor Jerry Brown on Friday signed 11 gun control bills, including a ban on the use of lead bullets for hunting. It's a really bad move. It's totally junk science. Lead is not a poison. It does not harm people, but this was coming, and it's a totally an anti-hunting move. It's just one of the things that the anti-hunters have been working on for 20 years to get this done. Expect this to come to your state and be ready for it. Get involved locally. But what Brown did do, and we heard this might be coming when Gene Hoffman from Cal Guns Foundation was on the show recently. He rejected a proposed ban on the sale of semi-automatic rifles with detachable magazines. So that's a good thing. He actually rejected several of the gun control measures. Not a total win, not a total defeat. Rejected some of the good, the ones that were important. But this ban on lead ammo for hunting is a bad deal. All righty, just the news there. Line 2, Rob's out of Rogue River, Oregon. Hello, Rob.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Hey, this may sound, and I'm not a redneck over here in Oregon. Well, maybe I am, but a couple of things. A few years ago, we were hunting up in one of the logging areas here in southern Oregon, and there was a remnants of an old burn, a slash burn in one of the hills. And anyway, I ejected a shell, a live shell, out of my bolt action, and it actually went out into the fire, and I ran like heck to get out of there. Got about 100 yards away, and then heard the shot go off. Right. The thing exploded. I was telling a buddy of mine about that, and he says, since the bullet doesn't have any barrel to build up pressure, the bullet it's not a real dangerous thing. So we just had the first rains here in Oregon not too long ago, so they opened up burn season, so we can do outside burning. Right. And anyway, we had my son and I the other day had some cardboard boxes and a bunch of trash from the summer that we were burning, and so we were gathered around the fire one evening, just putting a bunch of burn boxes on there, and all of a sudden, a couple of these things just started popping. And I looked at my son, I go, what the heck is that? And another one went off, and something went right by us. And we got the heck out of there because we thought that it sounded like 22 bullets going off, and I know one was going off at a pretty fast rate of speed, and it missed us pretty close. Now, in your opinion, can those things cause harm just without a barrel building up pressure and sending those bullets off?
I'm not going to say they can't cause harm, but it's really, your buddy was correct. If it's not in a chamber, which contains the pressure and pushes everything in one direction, what happens is, as you might imagine, the case will go one way, the bullet will go the other, and generally you get nothing out of it. In fact, I've seen people take a 12-gauge shotgun and rig it up so you could shoot it without it being in a barrel, and they could catch the shot in a felt hat, just to give you an idea. Yeah, stuff will fly, but it's not, it could hurt you if it's smacked into you, but it's not going to injure you, kill you, anything like that. So, your buddy was right. Ammo in a fire is not a big deal. Well, it's a big deal, but it's not dangerous like shooting the ammo in a gun, unless you have a loaded gun in the fire. Now you have a round in the chamber, and it's going to go off just like it would if you pull the trigger on a loaded gun. So, but yeah, the whole movie deal of let's throw ammo in there, it's going to go off and shoot people, not true. But it sure is fun for the movies.
Firearms, ammunition, recreational and competitive shooting, training, hunting, and yes, even politics. You're listening to Gun Talk. Call us now at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com.